the Kentucky Wildcats. They fill up one end of the arena here tonight as we welcome you to the Infinity College basketball tip-off, and it is a dandy. The Kentucky Wildcats on the road, Starkville, Mississippi. Take a look at the standings. Kentucky in a very familiar spot. They're undefeated and tied with Florida. But note Mississippi State, 3 wins in a row, now 3-1. They're in the top 5. Good evening, everybody. With my buddy Sean Farnham, I'm Brent Musburger, Kaylee Hartung also with us. And Wildcat Tuesday, what will we see tonight, my friend?
Well, always trying to look at something, dissect it a different way. And, of course, when you talk about Kentucky, their offense has been explosive. One of the very best in all of college basketball this season. And they do it in a variety of ways. They're able to pound you underneath with strength. Bam Adebayo leads the way, but they are best in all of college basketball at points in the paint. Then, as far as points off of turnovers, defense leading to offense, where the other team doesn't even get to set up their defense. And then this is just ridiculous. De'Aaron Fox, the one-man transition game. They average 28 points a game, but somebody might want to stop the ball eventually. He's too quick to do it in most cases.
Sellout crowd on hand tonight. And you've been watching the Infinity Tip-Off. Now let's take a look as coaches compete for a charity of their choice, the Infinity Coaches Charity Challenge. The SEC on ESPN. Kelly Hartung, come on in here and tell us about the star of stars from Mississippi State.
Well, Brent, the SEC Player of the Week is not wearing Kentucky blue tonight. He's wearing maroon, and that's sophomore guard Quinndary Weatherspoon. He has been the key to this team's success, and if you get Q talking, he'll tell you he's not much of a talker. He prefers to lead by example. His toughness and leadership exemplified best in the fact that he is playing through a wrist injury that had he elected to have surgery, he would have been out for the entire season. The question daily, how much pain can you tolerate? But as he's playing through it, Ben Howland has asked that he learn how to be a talker. He told me he's learning. It's not easy, but in the locker room and on the court, he's trying. Tonight, pay particular attention to his communication on the defensive end of the floor. As he told me, that will be the key to this team making an effort to stop that explosive offense you guys are talking about.
All right, Kaylee. Fired up crowd on hand for this one. And we begin the Wildcats with the first possession. Fox will bring it down.
Looking for Bam in the post when they swing it out here to the wing.
We got him right now. Shot on the inside, doubled quickly. Briscoe's 3 on the way. Defensive rebound, 1 and done. And here they come. Really looking forward to this young man. Lamar Peters, folks, number 1. Want to watch him. He's a very talented young guard. This is a very young basketball team. There's Weatherspoon, whom Kaylee talked about, number 11 handling. Back and down low. Jump hook is not good. 1 and done there after the miss by Herard. On the drive, and the Wildcats score first with Gabriel.
A good job recognizing that Gabriel was filling the lane. Herard, of course, he missed that first shot for Mississippi State. Playing with the mask, it's going to take him a little while to get used to it.
Offensive rebound and a putback.
That broke his nose. Actually, his own teammate made contact with it. It was Peters that hit him with an elbow. He's going to be evaluated on whether or not he's going to need surgery to fix it. But I've played with one of those masks, and it can alter and change things, the way you breathe, the way you feel.
Monk misses on the fadeaway for the left baseline. Lead pass. Holman's down ahead of the defense, and he misses a bunny. Here's Fox right back at the other end. Lightning quick, these Kentucky Wildcats.
Well, difference between styles of play for both of these two teams. One team trying to push it, and I think if they try to run tonight, they've got to be opportunistic when they have it, but you've got to be able to complete it. Because if you don't, it leads to that. A two-point basket at the other end of the floor.
Penetrates, and it's stripped away. Picked up again. Herard He's been Johnny on the spot underneath Sean. There's Monk.
They come at you so quick, though. You score, you feel like you've got some life, but right before you turn your head, you realize they're already down at the other end trying to put two on you. Well, Herard playing very well. Had a career-high 16 points against Texas A&M. His career high before that one was just 8. And so this is a young freshman that's starting to understand how to succeed at the college level, and sometimes that arc and that journey to find success as a freshman takes some time.
Peters wouldn't stay down. Good looking left-handed shot as Fox quickly to the attack, and here's Monk. Got inside the defense. And here comes a 2-on-1. Witherspoon, and they give it to him. Fox backed away to cover the other side where there was another Mississippi State player. Bam gives it up. Gabriel draws the first foul, and looks like it was on Witherspoon. What a great coaches matchup, huh? How about John Calipari over here and the job he has done year in and year out? And on the other side, Ben Howland, one of the more underrated coaches, 3 consecutive years, took UCLA to Final Fours.
Truly remarkable when you look at the successful run he had at UCLA, those 3 straight Final Fours, and then goes Coach Cal and what he's been able to accomplish at Kentucky, winning the national championship. Consistently the toast of the SEC Conference.
So Kentucky brought Willis off the bench at the first opportunity. Ball knocked out of bounds with the Wildcats up by 2.
Kelly talked about Quindary Weatherspoon and the toughness of grinding through this injury. I think one of the attributes that Ben Howland has always had on his teams is his leaders have been naturally tough. Go back to his days at Pittsburgh, then to UCLA. Guys that wanted to defend, guys that would play through pain and just keep getting better. And Quindary made the decision to play through it instead of having the surgery, and his numbers continue to impress.
So Howland's going to get his reserves into the game early. Witherspoon, deep 3 off the iron. Willis off Briscoe's hands and out of bounds.
I would have saved you. I would have saved you.
Were you ready?
I was ready.
Man, I was going underneath.
I was going for the ball, and I didn't see that I.J. Reddy was coming right at us. So I would have grabbed the ball, but not saved you at least from the contact.
Thank you, Sean.
But I'll work on it. I'll get better. This is only game 2 for you and I.
Oh, bam. Adebayo.
You cannot allow him to catch the ball with 2 feet in the paint, dead center. If you let him catch it there, you're just simply dead.
Under duress, that shot. Here come the Wildcats again. Here's Fox. Witherspoon held his ground. Loose ball. Battle for it. And looks like a hell ball will go to Mississippi State. That was the veteran Teddy Valentine. He's officiating tonight with Byron Jarrett and William Covington. And it was Ted calling a foul against Kentucky.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by CenturyLink, connecting more than just places. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And in part by Wendy's, proud sponsor of the 2017 John R. Wooden Player of the Year.
We welcome you back to Starkville, or as some call it, Stark Vegas. Let's go back to that play, Sean.
Well, as you see the loose ball, they call a foul on Bam Adebayo, and he kind of fell over the top as he was going for what he appeared to be a loose ball, and instead it's called a personal foul. He'll go to the bench. Isaac Humphries has come in. Bam only 1 personal foul, so not in foul trouble, but he has been as consistent as can be underneath, and such an important part of this team because he anchors everything underneath. I think Kentucky desperately changes as far as the level of athleticism and explosiveness around the basket when he goes to the bench.
Reddy bringing the ball up. Kegler is out on the floor. Traveling is the call against Witherspoon.
And you and I were talking about it. You thought, just going after the ball, not a big deal. I said, but if I fell on top of you during the course of a broadcast, that's a foul. I can't do that. Can't do it, partner.
Don't they do that in the NBA, though, or they play big boy basketball? Aren't you allowed to, huh?
Not in the college game. It's about flow and freedom of movement.
Thank you very much. Here we go now to Kentucky coming down. Briscoe's handling the ball.
Good start for Kentucky, 63% from the floor.
Willis drains a three, steps out, and knocked it down. That young man would check that. He'd come right off the bench.
Yep.
So Derek Willis nails the first three of the game.
Well, good to see him stepping out from beyond the line. It's one of his best attributes as a player. He can really stretch you as a stretch four. And last two games was the first time since his sophomore season that he didn't attempt a three in back-to-back games. And so when your strength is to be able to step out, you see him elevate up, sets the screen, and then pops. A lot of times those bigs are going to stay with the ball, and when that happens and you have a player that can shoot it like Derek Willis, it opens up a lot to your offensive game.
So Herard has been whistled for the infraction, and the ball will go to Kentucky's sideline, leading by 7, and Willis off the bench with 5 points. And this is a 7-0 Kentucky run.
All right, now we're getting a call off the ball again, and it's going to be against Herard. What appears to be like we're going to have a tight whistle tonight. Underneath. I didn't see a lot there that would garner the foul. As far as I'm concerned, Humphreys came in. It's just two guys trying to post up. I think you got to let them post up, right? I mean, offensively and defensively, fight for your position.
2 fouls in 7 seconds on Herard, so he goes off to the sideline, and now Lamar Peters back off the bench. He commits a personal foul. So there's 4 fouls already on the Bulldogs and 1 on Kentucky, and I'm sure Coach Howland will remind Teddy Valentine of that fact. Briscoe sends it back outside. Here's Willis again, and he's nailed 2 3 balls.
A great sign to get Willis back on track from beyond the arc. And he's focused a lot. There's been a lot of discussion over the course of this season about needing to be a better defensive player, needing to rebound. Well documented in a lot of stories around Lexington as far as trying to get his rhythm and not just focus on that and get back to his offensive game. And seems like he's in a good flow early.
And a foul against Kentucky. Willis was standing in underneath, and he's called for the personal foul.
Well, and of course, you can see on your screen a little addition to the graphics. We've got the fouls down there next to the records now.
Excellent.
I think they did that to remind me.
Stapleton steps to the free throw line.
And Xavion Stapleton has worked his way back from tearing an ACL twice. And really has started to come into better consistency as far as minutes go and production.
Kaylee?
Even after those 2 ACL injuries, the Mississippi State staff feels that Stapleton is the most athletic player that they've got on that team. Now, he still has a minute limitation that the training staff has him on, no more than 20 minutes a game, and he can't play more than 4 minutes at a time. For a guy who's a fierce competitor, he's been frustrated in moments when he gets pulled off the court on a hot streak.
Mulder, one of the veterans on this Kentucky team, out on the floor right now. Fox just pulls it up and battle for the rebound in underneath. And another foul going to go against Mississippi State.
And that one goes against Weatherspoon. Well, Kentucky's going to be shooting a lot of free throws in this game. When I was playing basketball, you know what that was called? That was called boxing out. You put a body on somebody. If they're coming to try to rebound the ball, you make contact.
Five fouls on Mississippi State here in the first half. Hawkins, Mulder, Fox, Adebayo. Mulder feeds the post, has to come back on the outside. Fox goes to the rim.
Please. Just so quick. How explosive is his first step?
And he's a good point guard.
It's funny how those things go together sometimes.
Interesting.
And when they do, it's really fun to watch.
It is. The 3-ball with Stapleton.
Hawkins, nice runner into the lane.
Well, right now Mississippi State's got to shore up their defense. They've got to keep Kentucky out of the middle portion of the floor. The last couple of possessions, they've been able to get the ball underneath and drive that middle lane and find success. 2 possessions ago, it was De'Aaron Fox, who is lightning quick. You don't need to slow it down because it's beautiful to watch in real-time speed, and he just quickly guides his body past the defense, help side rotation. They see him coming. They know the scouting report, and they still can't get over in time to make a difference.
There was confusion at the other end. Several of Mississippi State players thought it was Kentucky's basketball, and Coach Howland had to remind them, as Bam now has picked up 2 fouls, and so he is replaced again by Humphreys. There's Humphreys, number 15, on a switch, the young man from Sydney, Australia. Ball's deflected out of bounds. The officials checking with each other, and 16 on the shot clock as Peters looks like he'll take it out of bounds from Mississippi State.
Well, a lot of firepower pictured on your screen right there with those 3. Briscoe, Monk, and Adebayo on the bench. This is an opportunity to see how aggressive Mississippi State really wants to be.
Peters fires a 3, rattles out. Loose ball scooped up by Mulder. Lightning quick. Did not get the shooter's bounce that time. Fox on Peters. Ready, turns it around. Good move and stopped right in that paint.
It reminds me of the movie Top Gun. Will hit the brakes, he'll fly right by. He came, stopped on a dime, spun off of it, and able to elevate in the middle. Nice job by Reddy.
Humphreys jump hook right from Sydney, Australia. Good job, mate. Spent a long time talking to him. I got some good stories to tell you about Mr. Humphreys.
You had a good time with him today.
Yeah. It's interesting to get their stories.
Drive is good, and that's a beauty by Kegler.
Here's Humphreys on a catch, kick out to the corner. A beautiful pass. Look at Humphreys. That looks like Bogart in underneath. Coming back. Got to put it away, though, man.
So, we know about Fox, and we know about Monk and how great they are.
But my partner, Sean Farnham, wanted to find out, how are they as roommates? That's next.
Your roommate is De'Aaron. How is he as a roommate?
Crazy. He get on my nerves. Every time I come in there, and lay down, he'll run in there and start yelling, playing music or something. But I mean, we're like family, so it's fun.
How is Malik as a roommate?
It's cool to have him. Sometimes if people have him on Snapchat, sometimes he'll be playing. He'll literally go in a room after class. He'll sit down at the table. He doesn't even get in his bed, and he just starts blasting music. And it can go from rap to country, and it just keeps switching.
I think having a variety of music's a positive thing. I'll go on that spectrum. You know what's great, though, is talking to those 2 guys, and that was back in October when we had an opportunity to really sit down and spend some time with them. And Malik told me that De'Aaron's much more organized. He says sometimes he allows his laundry and things just to kind of lay around, and then he looks across the room and sees how organized De'Aaron is. And he goes, well, I got to pick up and clean up after myself because I can't have his side of the room looking better than mine.
Kentucky ball out of bounds, and here is Fox. High pick and roll. Back outside now to Briscoe on the drive. Briscoe muscles in, and Thatcher sort of held his ground, did a good job underneath defensively.
Kentucky doing a nice job, though, early in this game, sharing the basketball. 6 assists on their 10 made field goals so far, only 1 turnover. And then you look at Mississippi State, and this is where Kentucky hurts you. They get you to play out of your rhythm. Only 1 assist on their 6 made field goals so far. So a lot of one-on-one basketball play. It's tough to win when you're playing one-on-one against the Cats.
Mississippi State feeling its way, and no. Fouled before, and that was against number 3, Stapleton. Fox brings it across. Briscoe, and there's another whistle. Let's check in with Kaylee.
Sean had mentioned how the state guys have an opportunity here to really show their toughness against this Kentucky team. And after a bunch of missed opportunities right before that last timeout, the focus of that timeout for Ben Howland was all about the toughness on the defensive end that his guys have to show. So far, one trip down to this end where they showed it. We'll see if we get more of it.
Well, the key too there, Kaylee, and I think what he's talking about with toughness is you've got to be able to finish off the possession with a rebound. Right before that last time out, Kentucky had about 3 or 4 opportunities to put it away, was unable to do it, but you cannot give them extra opportunities.
(24-15).
Isaiah Briscoe, by the way, last player to leave shoot-around this morning, spent extra time at the free throw line trying to find himself a rhythm.
Wright rattles out. They just cannot find the long ball. And Mississippi State has been a good three-point shooting team in the SEC so far.
That's where the length of Kentucky and the athleticism kind of lessens the quality of the look from beyond the arc that you're used to seeing.
Briscoe swings it inside. Humphreys unable to finish. Lead right, lays it in.
That was a beautiful pass in transition.
Monk, deep three. Now Mississippi State will try to put together back-to-back field goals, give themselves a lift here.
A great drive and deliverance of a pass by Isaiah Briscoe, then missed by Humphreys, then out in transition, pass coming right at you. Small window, beautiful bounce pass, and Wright able to finish.
Coach Howland would love to get Witherspoon going. He's been relatively quiet here tonight. Number 11 will come up the floor. Peters with the ball.
I don't think there's any way that Mississippi State can win this game without Witherspoon getting over the 20-point mark. So he needs to get going.
Off the dribble, great feed, Gerard. Well done by Witherspoon on that assist. Now it's Fox at the other end. Traveling. This is Mississippi State's best surge of the night.
Well, and it's unselfishness, similar play to what we saw for Briscoe, just a little bit different finish. Look at 3 blue jerseys collapse on Quindary Weatherspoon as he drives the middle of the floor. That opens up the back line, and Gerard able to finish with ease. Let's see if they can keep the energy going. The building, the students are ready to get going. It just hasn't materialized yet where this has become a loud environment.
Gerard was trying to position himself down low against Killalea Jones, and Jones fouled him. And we want to remind you, more college basketball action Thursday night at 7 p.m. It'll be the Big Ten, Maryland and Iowa, and that'll be followed by the Clemson-Louisville ACC game. And John, what's your take on Louisville and some of the little problems they've had?
Well, without Snyder now, who's got the hip flexor, going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks. It's a big deficit now. Clemson's been struggling. They've lost 4 games so far in the ACC play. This one's going to be on the road, but this place is getting back. We're getting back to this game. This is a good one right now.
Peters with a driving left-handed shot. Makes it 3. And here they come again. This is a great surge by the Bulldogs. Away from the ball. And this is against Kentucky again. And Killalea Jones down underneath.
The drive down the middle, the ability to finish by Peters. Started the game with the headband on, the headband's off, and now just starting to play. And Killalea Jones picked up 2 quick fouls.
We've got a 3-point difference in this game right now. Ball out of bounds, Mississippi State. And Witherspoon came across, and we're going to have a foul that's going to go against, right?
5-second violation.
5-second violation. Now Kentucky has missed its last 7 from the field. Make it 8. Humphreys positioning for the rebound, and the foul is going to go against him.
Well, the fouls are just stacking up. Early it was for Mississippi State, and now recently the fouls are piling up for Kentucky. And as this game and this flow gets disrupted, remember too, you've started to see Mississippi State try to get a piece of the paint and score around the basket. A big reason why they're able to do that, Bam Adebayo is sitting on the bench with 2 personal fouls. And as I mentioned, when he goes out of the game, the athleticism drops around the basket, also the physical presence. I mean, you look at that young man's body, his shoulders, how large they are. I think players get intimidated when they turn the corner and see him standing there.
6-0 run. Herard down low on Humphreys. Doubled. He'll shoot a pair of free throws. So we'll take a break at the 7:49 mark. Mississippi State battles back against Kentucky.
No, stop it.
The underdog boys howling here in Starkville. 2-touchdown underdog. Wrong sport. 14-point underdog. 24-21. Kentucky. Herard coming up. I am looking at the foul shot. 7 against Kentucky. 7 against Mississippi State. 3 Wildcats with 2 fouls right now, and 2 players from Mississippi State, including Witherspoon with 2, and Herard at the free throw line also has 2. So here's his first. This is a player that's developed a lot, hasn't he, Kaylee?
He has, Brendan. He earned a starting spot as SEC play started. And the Mississippi State staff told me this freshman, after the first month of the season, finally realized he can't get by just being the biggest guy on this court. Now, he would give into fatigue, they say, early in the season. He had a really difficult test on Saturday against Texas A&M, some of the best big men in this conference. They say he passed that test. They are so pleased with where he is at in the process of development.
Well, second time in the last 3 games, he set a career high as far as points go, and he gets an extra free throw here because Derek Willis stepped into the line early. But the big thing when you're shooting free throws is the mask that he's wearing on his face, because that plastic comes over the top of your nose to protect it from the broken nose that he has, and it gets in your line of sight. And it takes a while to get adjusted to that.
Yeah, obviously that was the case here, and it's still 24-21.
He's a 55% free throw shooter, and he just missed 3 in a row.
That helped.
When you look at this lineup for Kentucky, this is not a lineup that is often on the floor together.
Willis, though, he has had the answer with the 3 ball in this game so far tonight. He's been the big man for the Wildcats, shooting from the outside.
His third 3, 11 points in the game already for Derek Willis. Such a great job spacing the floor, finding him out in the corner.
Ball was kicked, so it'll be out of bounds. 17 on the shot clock.
That broke a streak of 8 missed field goals in a row for Kentucky, and spaces this game out a little bit more. And Derek Willis, the Kentucky native.
You know, it's interesting, Sean, this officiating crew, some of them are known for calling fouls. Both coaches have adapted. Both coaches have gone very deep here in the early going. 10 players. So they have substituted frequently, knowing that there are going to be a lot of whistles. And coaches are very familiar with these referees, and they know who's going to call a game tight, who might be a little bit looser. They saw Ted Valentine, and they said, bench, get ready. Here comes Fox. Good.
So elite in transition. That was like the exact play that we showed in the open. You know, you get the ball, everybody's back defensively, and yet still nobody's reacting as Fox is driving down the floor.
Stapleton on a run, deflected underneath, put back and in. Kegler stays with it. Briscoe, offensive foul.
Well, you got to be aware, you know, Gabriel just picked up one at the other end, and that's an easy call. I mean, he stopped, his feet were set. Briscoe's shoulders weren't square. He dipped it down a little bit, enough to draw the contact, and Subsequently, we go in the other direction. He mentioned players have to adapt. And look, the game and the way that it's going to be called has been set.
Absolutely.
So now you have to, as long as they're consistent in it, you as a player have to adjust to what the officials are calling or they're not calling. Some games you can get away with a little bit more. Others you can't.
Monk now rises.
That was such a smooth move.
The shooter's bounce. He is some offensive player.
What I love there is the way he settled. Utilized the shot fake to elevate his defensive player and then get the cleaner look. Malik Monk does so many things well, and obviously his numbers will show you exactly how good he is. But little shot fake gets the defensive player up, and as he's coming down, you go back up over the top. There's nothing you can do except for see the iron and a good soft touch off the fingertips at number 5.
He'll take a seat. So Hawkins back on the floor for Calipari.
Now Briscoe is the one that took a seat. Malik Monk still out on the floor. And I'll tell you what, look out. Oh.
Ayuk fails, and down comes Peters.
You could see it materializing. That was such a bad pass, it almost went in.
Foul. On the entry pass, Willis was underneath, and tomorrow night on ESPN, don't miss another NBA Wednesday doubleheader. The Bucks take on James Harden and the Rockets. What a year he's having. Then Russell Westbrook and the Thunder will take on Kevin Durant, the Splash Brothers, out at the Oracle. Hope you were watching SportsCenter tonight. You got a glimpse of the ceremony going on as they begin construction with the new Warrior Arena over in San Francisco. It was interesting for me to hear today that the executives of the Warriors are going to keep the name Golden State and not switch to San Francisco. When Philadelphia went out there, of course, Wilt Chamberlain went to San Francisco, and then they went across the Bay Bridge to Oakland, and there is Kevin Durant. How about these three guys were once all teammates?
A remarkable collection of talent. Those first two, Westbrook and Harden, probably the clear-cut favorites in the NBA right now as far as the MVP race goes. But growing up in the Bay Area, I'll tell you, everybody make a big deal. East Bay versus the city. You're going to go watch the team if they're good. And the Warriors are really good. They're going to be really good for a while as long as they can keep this group together. They're going to have fans over there at the Chase Center.
Gabriel steps out, the young man from Manchester, New Hampshire, and drains it.
Had a career-high 2 made three-pointers against Auburn, but that wasn't the career high that left everybody buzzing after that game. 16 rebounds for the freshman.
Gerard was backing into Gabriel. Boy, the whistles are just adding up. The benches are going to be a factor. It's a 10-point difference right now in the game. That's the third foul on number 34 on Gerard. So that's a major problem right now.
Yeah, well, fouls are a major problem to the flow of the game. And here we go at the other end. I mean, we're not even seeing shots get up. You know, it's tough as a player when things are this fragmented and there's this many calls, because how do you keep in a rhythm? How do you keep in a flow as far as a shooter's touch, or, you know, just even keeping your energy level up?
19 fouls already here in the first half.
I like basketball when we're flowing up and down the floor. You can play different styles, but as long as we're going and kind of feeling it. Right now, there's no feel in this game.
Peters drains the 3-ball. He felt that one. Hawkins on the drive. Beautifully rejected. Witherspoon spots. That would have brought the house down. Inside of that final 5-minute mark here in the first half, Starkville. Monk catch and shoot. Witherspoon, offensive rebound and a putback.
is good. And Holman with a couple of huge plays. Herard in foul trouble. And Holman down on the inside. He's a 6'10" from Owensboro, Kentucky. He loves doing this against the Wildcats. And Fox is fouled on the drive.
Kentucky and Mississippi State, a lot of fouls. Tough to keep a rhythm, not tough for Mr. Peters. Spaces the floor, able to knock it down, and then defense, rotation. The block on Hawkins leads to the offensive side. Second chance points. They don't get a lot of manufactured second chance points, but Mississippi State's still in it.
This unfolds. Keep an eye on it. Bingo. Cannot allow that. Got to tee up somebody in that situation.
This has to be a technical. The officials are reviewing it. And there's just no justification. You can't say, like, oh, I was passing the ball to the official or anything like that. No, you just threw the ball off of a player's head.
And Coach Howland saw it, because I wondered why Howland came clear out to the free throw line to pick up Holman. And he reprimanded him. He coached him up over there, because Holman has been very important with Herard in foul trouble. He really needs him. And the officiating crew over there taking a look at the replay. The official who made the call came right over here. It was not Valentine. Came right over here and told us that take a look down by the baseline, because that's where it occurred.
Well, and certainly my interpretation of this is that it should be a technical foul, and that Kentucky should be at the free throw line.
Here comes Ted Valentine over to explain it now. Yeah, it's going to be a technical, just what Sean said.
All right, dead ball technical foul,
yeah.
As
it should be.
It should be. I mean, I would have been shocked had they not. This would not have done that. Good job for this crew to be on top of it, create the separation. Good job by Ben Howland coming out and getting him.
Yeah.
Poor job by Holman. I mean, completely unacceptable.
So the technical is called, and it will be Fox coming up to the free throw line for John Calipari and Kentucky.
You know, foul trouble has plagued him the last two games, De'Aaron Fox, and kind of taking him a little bit out of the rhythm that he was in.
You know what he told me? Last game when he fouled out, number 3, 4, and 5 were all bad calls.
He's probably right. You know, players remember those type of things.
Oh, yes,
you
they
know,
do.
I mean, they really do.
And now Monk. So it was a dead ball technical, and
now the ball will be out of bounds here at half court, Kentucky's basketball. Well, Derek Willis been a big part of what they've done here in the first half so far. And De'Aaron Fox quickness, they really haven't had an answer for that either.
Wynyard now comes onto the floor for Kentucky. Briscoe waits for Fox. Holman switches on him. Back outside, Briscoe's J. Nice soft touch. By 9 now.
Isaiah Briscoe, we were talking about, he said, you know, I've improved my jump shot. Everybody knows that. We've talked about it every single game when we do a Kentucky game, about how hard he's worked to improve his shot. He goes, but I still think there's more room to go. I think the confidence level's got to continue to grow.
Good feed to Stapleton. Easy 2. The Bulldogs trying to hang tough here. They've got 2.5 minutes left in the first half in Starkville.
I think both these coaches just want to get to the locker room, get their teams recentered and focused. With a lot of the fouls, it's taken the chemistry and the normal units off the floor.
Briscoe off the dribble.
Well, that's just ridiculous. His ability to change direction, change speed. You know, you can fall in love with De'Aaron Fox and how quick he is. But one of the things I love about Isaiah Briscoe, and this isn't a comparison between the two, but just the ability to change direction and use his strengths to find a way to the rim.
Turn it over, and here's Briscoe leading the way. Found the follower with a great pass, and Derek Willis finishes 42-31, up to 11. Timeout, Bulldogs.
Speed, elevate the defensive player up. Basketball is a game of geometry. It's a game of angles, and sometimes they're hard to see, but when you deliver a pass like that, you go, boy, that was beautiful.
Our guy, Joe Lunardi, you know, bracketology, I checked him out. He sent out late email to me before this. Well, actually, everybody at ESPN. There's the big three we've been raving about here for a long, long time. Anyway, he has Kentucky on the #1 line, the last one, right behind them, Baylor and Gonzaga, #1. The other three won Villanova, Kansas, UCLA, and right now, bracketologist says it's Kentucky. Not too early to begin traveling is the call. Not too early to begin thinking about March Madness.
I saw Gonzaga on Saturday night at home, and if you haven't stayed up late to watch West Coast hoops, the Bulldogs, the last remaining undefeated team. They've got a lot of length and size, in particular one that comes off the bench, and Zach Collins, who is very, very dangerous as a freshman who can shoot from the outside and also post up. Don't worry, folks, there's just a couple more fouls being called. But I'm going to stick with the Gonzaga because I can. And when you look at their team, Nigel Williams-Goss, a transfer from Washington, is a tremendous talent and has really been a solidifying force in taking pressure off of Josh Perkins. Gonzaga is a legitimate Final Four contender this year in college basketball. Stay up late and watch them. You'll love them. You don't have to stay up late because you love Montana.
That's right. Mark Few, the coach.
Mark Few goes fly fishing. You go fly fishing.
Summertime.
Ben Howland.
Ben Howland, of course, was played at Weber State in Utah, and then coached Northern Arizona in the Big Sky Conference. So he's well aware of what it's like out there. And here comes Peters. Oh, that's a beautiful drive. Got the foul. He's on the free throw line. That's one of his best moves of the night.
And right there, you know what you're seeing right there? You're seeing leadership. He may be a freshman, but you're seeing leadership out of Peters.
I thought we were going to see a fist fight.
I know we got too much talking going on, though. And Mississippi State's talking to Kentucky, and what Peters was trying to tell Thatcher was get away from him and just come together and huddle up.
That is the third foul on Kalia Jones. So Kalia Jones has 3. Herard has 3. So we've got a player on each side. And, the whistles have been a huge factor here in the first half. Not just with who's been on the floor, but the flow of the game. I would be hesitant to say that they have favored either team, though.
The game is being called tight. You have to adjust to it. You have to adjust to it. Otherwise, you're going to be out of the game. I mean, if you continue, they call a foul a certain way, and you keep continuing to play a way that they're calling that a foul, you're not going to be on the court very long.
Now they just changed that last foul to Wynyard. Okay, so scratch the fact that Kalia Jones has 3. He has 2. Briscoe, solid leader. Here's Fox off the dribble. Peters tries to stay with him, and he went right over the top.
When people look at his shooting numbers, especially in particular outside of the paint, beyond the arc, I think Fox is such a better shooter off the bounce because it's less thought into it.
Peters, awkward, but it counts. And it's a 10 coming inside the last 30 seconds. Now, despite all the whistles and everything that's gone on, Kentucky has had a 44-point half. An amazing performance by this basketball team, game in and game out.
Well, they've done that with only 2 second chance points as well. I mean, so it's been a very efficient half for them. And this is going to be a foul against Mississippi State. But it's been a very efficient first half. I mean, sharing the basketball, finding their teammates. This is Kentucky. Hey, you know what? I get it. It's frustrating. Stoppage of plays, all those things, very frustrating. But the one thing about Kentucky that they've done very well is they have not let themselves get rattled. They haven't taken themselves, even with different lineups. Bam's been on the bench seemingly forever in this game. His last 14 minutes of this half, he has not been on the floor. So they have not been rattled. They just stay with who they are. Fox and Briscoe in particular have made sure that everybody's getting involved. Willis has had the big first half. It's been impressive for the guys in blue.
There's some depth over there on that Kentucky team, John, and that's a big thing. John knows how to coach them up, works with these youngsters, turn it over, bounce pass, the beauty, and a foul. So Fox, who wanted field goal and one, will come to the free throw line to shoot a pair. But what a great pass of your man Briscoe.
Well, and again, it just demonstrates the defensive ability. It's Fox that gets his hands in, Briscoe corrals it, wraps around a beautiful bounce pass. And he'll earn the right for Fox to be at the free throw line. You know, so many times I go to these AAU tournaments, and I've got a 6th grader, so he's playing basketball. So many kids nowadays, they want to throw just these little lobs over the top. Right. The bounce pass is so effective, and Briscoe does a really nice job of utilizing the bounce pass to wrap it around and create a better passing angle for his teammate.
Turn it over late. Briscoe knew he was working against the clock, and they failed to convert off that late turnover, but Kentucky dominates down the stretch in this game. So let's go to Kaylee with Coach Cal.
Coach, a lot of fouls called in that half, 24. How do you manage that with your team?
We're just trying to get in at halftime and not have anybody with 3. So we've been in these games. We've had it with our guards. We've had it with Bam. Next man up. Next man got to step up and play. And I love Ty. You asked me what was going on. Maybe Ty's that guy for us. So we'll see.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Kaylee, thank you very much. John Calipari and the Kentucky Wildcats lead Mississippi State 46-34. Let's go to Carl Ravitch in the studio. Take it away, Carl.
Hi, Brent.
CenturyLink. And Sean, take us through some of the first half highlights.
Well, we start with fouls because that was the first half. 25 fouls called in the first half. A lot of minutes by a lot of players that at times really haven't played major roles on their teams. But Derek Willis, one of the guys that came off the bench, and he was good to go to pick up some of the offense. 13 points, 5 of 6 shooting, 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. And then at the opposite end, Mississippi State was able to attack. But Adebayo on the bench, it allowed the Bulldogs to turn that corner and feel confident that they could score at the rim, and they are +4 in that category.
Kentucky with its biggest lead of the game over Mississippi State by 12. In that first half, Kentucky shot 52.9%. They've already shot better than 50% 5 straight games. So despite all the foul problems, they still shoot at a high rate.
Well, and that's what we talked about at the end of the first half. What really impressed me most is that Kentucky didn't lose its rhythm. They shared the basketball. 50% of their made field goals came off of assists. They created 11 turnovers, 13 points off those turnovers. It was an impressive first half for Kentucky, and now they've weathered the storm as far as the foul trouble goes.
And they have dominated this man right here, Witherspoon. 2 points and 2 fouls, played only 11 minutes. Wraparound's no good. Wildcats first possession, second half. Here comes Monk. And we've got a foul called on the drive. Let's check in with Kaylee.
Well, Brent, Ben Howland frustrated by a stat that's not on the stat sheet. He told me 5 times in 37 possessions, his team passed the ball 4 times or more. That's not enough. He wants to see this offense find a rhythm despite all these foul calls we're seeing. I asked him how to get Q going. Quindary Weatherspoon, the SEC Player of the Week, who we were all praising as this game started, he said, well, foul trouble hit him too. We got to get him out of that, but not at all worried when you don't see productivity out of Witherspoon in the first half.
So we pick up where we left off with a foul, and Monk steps to the free throw line.
Well, and Look, when we call games all the time. And when you have a game that's like this, it's difficult because you're describing fouls. You're describing, was that contact? How does that work? Why are they calling it like this? As we mentioned in the first half, referees sometimes call the game tighter. There is no doubt that tonight's game has been a very tightly officiated game. Contact of any kind has been drawing the attention of the crew. So again, now you know that in the second half you've got to be smarter. Move your feet, play less with your hands.
Peters off the dribble, has to pick it up, and they turn it over. It'll go to Kentucky.
So right now, Cayley. That ball almost hit Cayley, Brent. Can you imagine the chaos that would have ensued? Are you okay, Cayley? I just want to make sure you're okay.
Quite recovered from the shock of that.
All right, well, good. Your elusiveness was very good. You have good lateral
quick
quickness.
On my feet, right?
Yes.
Yeah, in heels.
3 ball is knocked down. And Briscoe added to it. He played well in the first half, and now picking right up is Gabriel, knocking the 3 ball down. Kegler wraparound not there. There's Gabriel off with a defensive rebound. Game is starting to get away from Mississippi State. They better be careful. Briscoe with an air ball into Peters' hands. Peters on a run out, going to take it the distance.
And he plays with no fear. And Peters just continues to turn the corner, and this young man's been through an awful lot in the last week.
Tipped away, and here's Witherspoon. Ben Howland, interestingly enough, left him on the floor after he picked up his 3rd foul. He has 2 players out there with 3 apiece, Witherspoon and Herard, but he knows he's got to try to get Witherspoon loose offensively if he has a chance to come back here. Briscoe. Fox. Battle for the rebound. Gabriel, yes, puts it back.
And he has come out of the locker room with a great deal of energy and excitement in his game. He's bouncy at both ends of the floor, grabbing rebounds, hit the 3-pointer, the second chance points there.
Back to Holman, stolen by Gabriel. Here's Monk. Fires the 3, short. Herard cleans it up for Mississippi State. Peters from deep into Herard's hands, and it goes the other way because of the foul. And that is number 4 on Herard.
Herard trying to position himself for the rebound. Bam made the contact initially, then wrapped, but Herard gets called with the foul and will go to the bench. Takes out a big component as far as size underneath, ability to score underneath, and rebounding for a team that over the course of this season has really struggled on the glass.
Datcher, number 45, comes in, and Fox put back by Briscoe, well positioned on the left side, and it's 55-38, and Mississippi State has got to be careful. Kentucky is pulling away.
Well, Ben Howland wants his team to be patient. He wants them to throw the ball and pass it around, but another thing they need to stop doing is picking up offensive fouls and not even getting a shot up.
Stapleton commits that personal as we check in with Cayley.
Well, Brent, Sean mentioned that Lamar Peters has been through an awful lot in the past week. Well, last Wednesday night, his father passed away. He got a call from home that Wednesday night and received the news while here in Starkville. The coaching staff found out shortly after. And talking to the Mississippi State coaching staff, they tell me it was, of course, very tough on him that night, but they don't feel like it's hit him. He hasn't had the moment to break down and fully wrap his mind around it. Basketball has been his escape, and this team has had his back through it.
So we've got a full timeout, 55-38 Kentucky. We'll be right back. Big Ten matchup, Maryland and Iowa, then 2 ACC teams square off. Clemson will take on Louisville. Both games on ESPN, also available streaming live on ESPN app and Watch ESPN. Sean, let's turn to the foul situation. Mississippi State's in deep trouble here right now.
They really are, and what happens when you get into foul trouble, you start becoming a little bit more passive. And when you become more passive, you're not aggressive. And if you're going to play for Ben Howland, you've got to be tough, you've got to be physical, and you've got to play with a certain level of aggressiveness if you're going to try to make any comeback here. Because right now, Kentucky, as we've dialogued already in the early portion of this half, they're just pulling away.
On the inside, Datcher was defending Bam, and Datcher picks up the personal foul. We've had a lot of fouls called away from the ball here tonight. Adebayo takes the inbounds pass, and Briscoe was waiting for Fox. Now they get it back on the inside. Good defensive play down low, and Briscoe picks up that personal.
The thing as a player, too, that if you see the game being called like this, one of the things you can do, drive. Drive early, drive often. As any contact has been drawing the attention of the officials. You can, especially if you're Mississippi State right now and you're trying to work your way back in the game, you're not really being efficient offensively. You're turning the ball over too much. Try to drive the lane and see if something good and positive can come from it.
Ready will bring it to the attack for the Bulldogs. Briscoe chasing Witherspoon has done a good job when he's on him here tonight. There's tap back against the double team, and it's good for Kegler. Now quickly, Kentucky responds. Part of their attack to a made field goal. If they don't have an easy shot attempt, then they bring it back out and go to the half court.
Well, Seth Greenberg always talks about it in studio how they want to score in the first 7 seconds of the clock. That time, good defensive transition by Mississippi State forced them to settle back out this offense. Good pass.
Oh, it was. And Bam is fouled again underneath, and that's on Datcher, and Adebayo will come to the free throw line. We're going to go to a break. 15-31. This basketball game still searching for a flow. And my buddy Sean got 4 things for you to know when you come back. Game over Mississippi State. And Sean, what are the 4 things I should know?
Well, let's go beyond the basket, partner, and we'll talk about it because right now the Big 12 is big. Once again, 3 teams ranked inside the top 10, Kansas, Baylor, and West Virginia. Meanwhile, horrible news really coming out today when the results came back. The nation's leader in assists per game, Maurice Watson of Creighton, number 7 in the country, tore his ACL. The Terps leading the Big 10. Hey, Scott Van Pelt, I saw this team a couple of weeks ago. The young freshmen are so key to this quick start. And the 4th thing, it's called a tease. It's called a tease. We're waiting. We got the Mayfield. There it is. How about this? Not one team west of the Rockies has won a national championship in college basketball since Miles Simon team did it in 1997.
Has any team made the Final Four since Ben Howland did?
No. And it's been a long time for the Pac-12. And it's been a long time when they're waiting for Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga and UCLA both have a chance to get to the Final Four this year. One of them could end up winning the national championship.
Bad pass. Kegler lays it in.
So those are my 4 things. What you think?
I like them.
I'm just making sure. Oh, Bam was open underneath.
Back-to-back turnovers for the Wildcats. Sloppy, leading to 2 layups. Stapleton drops that one in. Back to within 12.
Timeout for Kentucky, and Bam Adebayo was open underneath as Malik Monk drove into traffic. A little bit of a swipe from the outside, then out in transition, not having to score against the length of Kentucky, and a couple of quick runouts all of a sudden have brought some life back for Mississippi State. I think Coach Cal wanted to talk to his team because, look, one of the things that's difficult is often when you get in foul trouble and you're a big, you don't get into that rhythm. You've got to feed the big fella underneath to kind of re-engage him in the game. And I think if I'm Kentucky right now, I'm really trying to focus in on Bam Adebayo and get the ball underneath to him and allow him to go to work.
Kaylee.
Well, John Calipari has made it very clear to this young team as he works to build their discipline that he is not tolerating effort mistakes. Now, that first turnover, a bad pass from Derek Willis, put him on the bench for it. But he says he'll take you out for anything where he doesn't feel that your effort is 100%. Not going to tolerate it. Case point right here.
Well, what is he talking about today at practice? Discipline, focus. Got to be disciplined in all aspects of the game.
They failed to convert after the timeout. Mississippi State digging their way back in. Ben Howland's teams, especially at Pittsburgh, featured tough defense. Back here's Peters, 3-ball. Offensive rebound, Witherspoon rejected into Fox's hands. Here's Monk at the other end. Lead Briscoe, beautiful, wall to wall.
How quickly do they get a stop and turn it into 2?
Gerard with the 4 fouls, backs his way in. Has to send it back to Witherspoon. 7 on the shot. Off the iron. And there's the foul is going to be called. And it's going to go against Kentucky.
You want to know how
That's
to run
his third.
You want to know how to run a fast break? This is how you do it. Watch this. Defense leading to offense. Count the dribbles. Because what you're going to see is 1, and then the ball is up, and it's gone. 1 dribble to get the ball down the length of the floor. 2 beautiful passes that were right on target, setting up the table for your teammate to score. Nice job by Kentucky once again.
So my young Aussie, Humphreys, checks in off the bench. Witherspoon back to Reddy. Here's Gerard. And there it is. Gerard fouls out of the game.
Posting up. He goes in, dips down his shoulder. You've got to be smarter. It was a great job by Gabriel. I mean, Gabriel was in perfect position, absorbed the contact. Gerard walked down to the other end of the floor, shook Coach Calipari's hand, and now he's walking over to the bench.
You know, back to a point you made, in case somebody was with it. He wearing the mask because of the broken nose. And that could have affected. I'm not trying to alibi for the young man. He had a tough time tonight, and it looks like it's going to go the other way. Now, Teddy Valentine thought the basket counted. Let's see here. They're conferring. So there's the young man, Gerard, fouling out.
All right, so I believe they're counting the basket. The foul will be on Humphreys, pushing with his hands.
Yeah, score the basket. We were just told. So the basket is good. And it looked like, obviously, that was a 2. It got the bounce. And Humphreys.
And just try to wedge his way in there.
His third personal foul. This is Reddy. Witherspoon getting down a little bit lower. Briscoe was the man on him. And he picks up the personal foul.
And that'll be his 4th personal foul on Briscoe.
So he will come out of the game right now, and Hawkins checks in.
3rd personal foul. I'm really
now we're
look. So
another foul call.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Mississippi State.
I can't.
That's on Witherspoon.
That was a screen.
Was that on Witherspoon?
Yes. That was a screen. I mean, this game has no flow to it whatsoever. What's illegal about that? What did he do wrong? Absolutely nothing. I'm sorry. That is an incorrect call.
And that's what Coach Howland is telling him.
It's been at both sides. We've seen it all game long.
Monk rattles out Gabriel in underneath for the outfit. Feeds Humphreys, and a young man from Australia makes it 62-44. Peters off the dribble.
How impressive has Peters been driving the lane tonight? This young player has got huge upside for Mississippi State.
Over the top, and Monk finishes.
Oh, they just teed him. They just teed him.
Excuse me?
Teddy Valentine just teed him.
And now he must have grabbed the rim.
Well, he grabbed the rim on the dunk. All right, and they're saying that it was a pull-up on the rim. I'd have to look at it again. I didn't think it was.
I thought Calipari's reaction, it might have been. No.
He hung on there.
He hung on maybe too long.
I'm done trying to dissect why it's called one way or not. I thought that was a dunk. It's a good play. Let's go to the other end and let Mississippi State try to score. You know, I mean, that to me, you run a back pick, you get Malik Monk an easy two, maybe held onto the rim a second or a beat too long, but that's it.
You know, John Calipari's reaction indicated to me that he thought that a technical could be called on that play. And look at him right now. Absolutely. He's coaching him up over there. So he thought that was a good call. I just saw John's reaction to it, and it was not against the referee. It was more against Monk. Here's Peters, and now Humphreys is going to get whistled. And that's number 4 if that's on Humphreys. So I asked him today, I said, did you play Australian rules football when you grew up? He said, no, mate. I played basketball, grew up playing. But here's what's interesting about him, Sean. He learned how to play piano by the ear. No one else in the family plays piano. And I so envy that skill. If anybody could walk into a room with a piano and sit down and can play it too. He also plays an alto sax. He's just such an interesting young man to talk to. One story after another. Now, think of Andrew Bogut. Think of Bogut with the Warriors. Okay, you're looking at a 7-footer from Australia. Bogut has made a very good living, and I'm not saying that Humphreys is as skilled as he is. 7-footer, he'll get a chance in the NBA. This end now. Speaking of NBA, Fox drives in the floor at 66-49.
He's going to get more than a chance at this level. He is so good and so dangerous.
The 3-ball, tap good. Coleman gets to the rim.
Yeah, poor box out that time by Bam Adebayo. Did not have any awareness of where Holman was. He snuck in behind him and was able to get there.
What a great student body this is. They haven't given up on this game, but listen to them.
That's what college basketball is great.
They're down 15.
It's the students wherever we go.
Fox has it. There's another defensive play by Holman. We got a timeout. You know, there's another good game tonight going on at the same time. I believe it's Arkansas, Texas A&M. After this break, Carl Ravitch is going to fill you in on what's going on. And Carl, we've got 11:21 left here. 66-51. So a 15-point lead. And Mississippi State trying to gather itself here. Monk loses it. They've been plagued by some turnovers in the last 6 minutes. Witherspoon on the drive at the other end is good. Now it's 13.
A good job converting the turnover into offense.
Another turnover. Now it's 2-on-1. Peters. Yes. Game on. Down to 11. Howland and the Mississippi State coaches are up. Briscoe. Loose. Picked up by Peters. Bounce. Kegler. Yes. This place is about to explode.
Well, this run by Mississippi State has come in large part because of their ability to live off of turnovers. You get loose with the ball, you don't handle it properly, it allows your opponent to get out in the open floor where it's spread out and seams and lanes open up. First it was Quindary Weatherspoon able to capitalize on it. And then coming over the top defensively behind Adebayo, it's Peters coming at you. And then the last one, of course, ends with a little bit more oomph at the iron. And the student body here excited and believing that Mississippi State can continue this charge. It should be noted that the Bulldogs have 4 times this year come back from a deficit of 10 or more points to win a game.
They're on an 8-0 run right now. And it is defense. A Ben Howland specialty.
Kentucky just controlled the ball.
Knocked away. Here it is again. 2-on-1. Bad pass. But it's off Kentucky. It'll be Mississippi State basketball.
Well, the interesting thing Coach Calipari is asking for is twice now they've jumped the back of Bam Adebayo down low on the block. Earlier, that was called a foul. Now it's not.
Ten minutes remaining in regulation. Here's Peters battling his way in, rejected by Bam. And a foul. A hooking foul, and that's Adebayo.
Yeah, Bam Adebayo underneath. They got him with the wraparound. And that is his 4th personal foul. And it should be noted, he's been on a streak of double-digit games. And so far in SEC play, averaging 15 points and shooting 67% from the floor. Those numbers are going to be far below that with his inability to stay in the game.
So he'll take a seat. Humphreys replaces him again. Here's Wright, who's on the floor now with Reddy. Witherspoon moving without the basketball. The three is good. Knocked down by Kegler. And it is suddenly a 6-point game. An 11-0 run. Monk fires. Offensive rebound.
And Coach Calipari looking at Malik Monk, yelling at him to drive the basketball, not to settle for that perimeter shot.
The pull-up again rejected. Mississippi State. Here's Witherspoon on Hawkins. Yes! Look what we found. The three, good, and what a huge basket that is. Dominique Hawkins from Richmond, Kentucky, nails a big 3.
Experience. He had a couple of threes against Louisville last year. And you need experience sometimes when you're on the road to calm everyone down. The biggest key in this run for Mississippi State has been the ability to create points off of turnovers. They are now +2 in points off of turnovers on the game against Kentucky, including 18 fast break points. It's been the ability to turn turnovers, 14 of them, into 22 points that has allowed Mississippi State to put itself in this position. The largest lead was 18 by Kentucky. See that 46 points in the paint, the most that Kentucky has allowed in the last 3 seasons.
Kentucky down to an even 50%. Here's Peters, ready. Drives inside now. Coleman, and it's rejected by Gabriel. The 3-ball, good! Peters! Humphrey screen, tries to give it back. Ball on the floor, picked up by Witherspoon, and Valentine with a foul falls up over the table.
Well, you go back to that last sequence. Great help side rotation. Wall up underneath. Gabriel gets the block, but it's been Peters all night long for Mississippi State.
And Humphreys has fouled out of this game.
And he fouled out with 4 points, but Peters, so impressive. 18 points. Plays with so much heart, so much passion. Carroll's turnovers here for Kentucky at this end of the floor. And it'll be Bam Adebayo coming back into the game for Kentucky.
And for Adebayo, he's in with 4 personal fouls. So Kentucky in deep trouble with foul trouble in their bigs. Witherspoon coming up to the free throw line. You can see how this Mississippi State defense has slowed down the Kentucky offense here in the second half with 7:49 to go. Witherspoon shooting his first free throw of this game.
He made some big plays down the stretch against Texas A&M, hit a corner 3 that put him up 57-53. And don't be surprised if he's the guy, even though he struggled offensively tonight, that they try to really get going in the big moment. Hit the game winner on this floor a season ago against Vandy.
Gets it back from the baseline, nails a huge 3.
How about his confidence tonight? That is his third three-pointer of the game. That's the most he's hit in a single game in his career. Now, granted, it's only been 1 season, but still.
Offensive foul is the call against Mississippi State. So the ball will go over to Kentucky's sideline. SportsCenter will be coming up after Michigan, Wisconsin. John Anderson and Nicole Briscoe. They'll have all the stories. We get ready for Championship Sunday coming up in the NFL. 2 great games. Pittsburgh at New England. Green Bay at Atlanta. Briscoe steps out, puts it on the deck on the drive. Stuffed in by Adebayo.
If you do not put a body on Adebayo, he's going to make it pay. I mean, he is just so strong.
Witherspoon has to get it back, and he turns it over. Fox had stepped into the passing lane. Fox on the layup, and a finish by Monk, the 2 roommates.
Well, turnover leading to offense that time. You know, De'Aaron Fox doesn't need any help. He doesn't need you to actually just pass the ball to him. Witherspoon didn't know where he was at, turned around, threw it to Fox, and then out in the open floor, Malik Monk able to elevate. Watch this. Not that he needs any help, but if you pass it to him in front of the defense, forces the back line to commit, and then able to elevate up over the top is Malik Monk, and then Bam Adebayo. Defensive rotation on Briscoe, and it clears out the space, and he finishes with authority.
Adebayo playing so well with 4 personal fouls here in the last couple of trips. Kenny Payne, of course, who works with the big men at Kentucky. He was a great player at Louisville back in the day. He's there in the huddle, bending down right now. So suddenly it has gone back to 10.
And that's what Kentucky can do. And look at the balance across the board. And some of this balance is manufactured because of the foul trouble. Others have been just elevating their game. And Gabriel in particular has been impressive to me tonight. Not just with his ability to score the basketball, but also the defense in which he has played. Rotating over on the help side, rebounding the ball, being aware of where he is out on the floor. I think it's starting to click for number 32.
Sean, can Mississippi State muster another run?
They can because Kentucky's been a little careless with the basketball. I think you've got to continue to be aggressive and not. That last possession, what concerned me was that Witherspoon seemed like he was sped up for no apparent reason. He didn't have to speed up the process right there. Settle yourself and find Peters and let Peters and Witherspoon kind of take the way here for the Bulldogs. Still plenty of time.
Peters across the timeline. Witherspoon, his defender fell, steps outside, knocks it down.
And the bigger concern is that Isaiah Briscoe is limping. Trying to work his way back down the court. He slipped and he fell. And he is, without question, the leader of this team.
Here's Fox, sends it back to Briscoe. And it goes over to Mississippi State. Wynyard was in battling for it.
And Briscoe's going to go ahead and take a seat. It looks like he's grabbing that toe, but as he starts to run along the baseline, he kind of just stubs his toe on the back heel of Quinndary Weatherspoon, and then it's an uncontested jumper from the outside.
Wrap around, good defense by Kentucky in underneath.
There's Gabriel once again. Gabriel has consistently put himself in outstanding help side position. John Calipari told us earlier today, it's about doing your job, and part of doing your job is having an awareness of where your teammates are at. And one of the things that has impressed me about number 32 in blue is just watch his vision, his awareness. Now, he's not the primary defensive player, but he has consistently been active, blocking shots, bringing energy around the rim. And as Cal told us today, he goes, you got to just do your job. If you aren't and everything breaks down, that's where you've got to rely on discipline. 50% of the time defensively, things are not going to go your way, but you have to trust that those around you are going to have your back. And that is part of the discipline he's been asking for defensively from this group.
Missing the free throw. Kegler down with the rebound. 7-point difference right now. Adebayo back up to check in soon. Peters on the drive, kick. Kegler gets inside his man, fires a three off the iron.
He had a wide open lane in front of him. I think you take the sure two instead of trying to hit the home run with the three.
Wynyard out to the high screen. 5 on that shot. Another screen. Fox going to pull it up. This is the three. Here's Witherspoon. Going to go on Monk. And Fox scoring. Goaltending. A 5-point game again.
That's why you've got to be aggressive. You got to force it pretty tight there. From the angle that we saw, it looked like the ball maybe just hit the glass ever so slightly. Once it hits the glass and you block the shot, that's going to be an immediate goaltend.
Kaylee.
Yeah, Briscoe back on the court. He had a quick meeting with the team's athletic trainer, took off his left shoe, but didn't even go so far as taking off the sock before he said he wanted to put it back on and get back out there.
All right, thanks, Kaylee. Briscoe steps out. Traveling.
A lot of turnovers here in the second half for Kentucky. Uncharacteristic. This is a team that usually takes care of the basketball. Came into this game just averaging slightly under 11 turnovers per contest.
Coming down on 4 minutes. An 18-point lead is now 5. Witherspoon under pressure, misses it.
You see, to me, ill-advised shot because it's a contested three that you can get at any point in time. Put it on the ground. Try to drive to the basket. That's where you've had your most success.
Fox off the dribble.
Yeah, he's figured it out.
Now it's a 7.
Great job by Fox seeing that seam.
Peters kicks already. Kegler drives inside, and he will come to the free throw line. And let's see who that one's on.
That was on Gabriel. Yep.
So when you put the 3 fingers up first, I thought that might be it for Bam, but it was on Gabriel. Timeout.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. Your link to what's next.
And the margin has been cut to 7, Sean.
Yes, but De'Aaron Fox has been the guy that has seemingly every time Mississippi State has gotten close, he's made a big play. Whether it was that steal that leads to this lob dunk from Malik Monk or the drive that you saw previously, his ability to break down the defense from the perimeter off the bounce has consistently been a big part of the arsenal for Kentucky, and I would think down the stretch we're going to see a lot more of it.
And on the other side, Peters is the high scorer for this game with 18, leading the way for the Bulldogs. 3:25 remaining right now. 78-71, Kentucky up 7, and Kegler coming to the free throw line.
And Kegler, another one of Ben Howland's prized recruits that came in this year as a freshman, 47th overall.
Kaylee.
There was confidence in that Mississippi State huddle just now, guys. Assistants on the team saying, we are going to win this game. Howland reminding his guys they have 0 timeouts left, 3:25 to play. He said, let's go win it.
2 big misses, though, at the free throw line. Leaves it 78-71, coming down toward the 3-minute mark. On the shot. Fox has to pull it up. Good Mississippi State defense, but hustle by Gabriel again. A hustle. What a night number 32 has had for the Wildcats.
3 block shots, 8 rebounds now, 13 points.
Fox on the drive is fouled.
Now Gabriel has been outstanding. And just like we talked about coming out of that timeout, number 0 on the drive. Earns the right to go to the free throw line. He applies so much pressure because of how quick he is.
That's the 2nd foul on Peters. I want to tell you that Ben Howland has a point guard to build on. Number 1 is a very, very good-looking basketball player. That's 79-71, up 8 to 42. Here he is, Peters. He's cut off. Bam, beautiful pass. Oh, Holman was there. Bam moves out, and that leaves the bottom open, and Peters read it perfectly.
And it's just another example of Peters, though, and the type of playmaking ability that he has for Mississippi State.
Briscoe moves inside. Good defense and underneath. And it goes back to Mississippi State.
Well, as you drive into the action, here comes the screen right now. As you get there, stop it right here. Look at this lane. Gabriel's got to pinch over. He can't worry about the perimeter shooter all the way away from the court. He leaves and stays attached to the perimeter shooter, and that's what vacated the spot underneath.
Here's a memo to the SEC. Ben Howland can flat out coach. This is some effort. And a foul is going to be called on Monk.
And a good opportunity for Mississippi State to kind of get into this lead a little bit more with the clock stopped and at the free throw line.
So here comes Peters up to the free throw line looking for a 20-point game.
It was Peters that was big at the free throw line against Texas A&M. 11 for 11 in that game, and a lot of them came down the stretch.
Willis replaces Gabriel at the 149 mark. There's his 20-point game. Now Holman will sub. Howland takes Holman out. Kegler and Stapleton check in. Here comes Fox. Ball on the deck. It's open. That's a 6 now at 125. Reddy was cut off by Monk. Taps it back. Turn it back. Here's Witherspoon on the drive and draws the foul on Willis. Willis fouled him.
Well, you go back to that last possession, though. Can't stop it. You can't stop it. I've yet to see somebody this season be able to stay in front and corral De'Aaron Fox for more than maybe a possession or two. But 9 times out of 10, he's going to end up exactly where he wants to be out on the floor. Last time after the made free throw, Mississippi State showed some pressure. Ben Howland wanted them to trap earlier and quicker. We'll see if they get into that same action this possession.
This is a second. Tracked down by Willis, and they put it in Fox's hands. Final minute coming up. Here he comes again. And one.
And some pushing afterwards. Isaiah Briscoe just put his hands on Quindary Weatherspoon, and we don't need this tonight. And now we got some more pushing going on. I mean, this just, you don't need to do this. And now you just get everybody away, be smart, calm down. Lost in all of this is the fact that De'Aaron Fox once again made a hell of a play.
He has the last 7 Kentucky points.
And there's contact to the head on the drive by De'Aaron Fox to the rim. As we came out last time out, I told you we're probably going to see a heavy dosage of this, and it's exactly what we have seen. His ability to take over the game, and a little forearm, then a push, and then just a lot of talking and a lot of guys getting close. And you see a little bit of that elbow, and that's why Briscoe pushed him away. And then his teammates don't like it. And so then we just get a bunch of talking and a bunch of guys wander around the floor. But look at the move. I mean, I don't want to lose focus on the move itself by De'Aaron Fox. An outstanding move, great body control, soft touch off the glass to finish.
Stapleton fouls out of the game.
I'm sure you can hear the chant. And you know, I'm not a big fan of chanting overrated when you're losing a game.
A night that has not been easy here in Starkville. Bright future for Mississippi State. And we all know about Kentucky's future. And they won't be satisfied unless they cut the nets down as the NCAA champions this year. John Calipari with another outstanding basketball team, and they were put under the gun in the second half by a very solid defensive effort.
Well, the fact that there's going to be things that they can work through from this game. How loose they were with the ball at times, dribbling, the turnovers that led to easy baskets for Mississippi State.
Let's check in with Carl Ravitch. Carl.
I want to get everybody up to date. Michigan and Wisconsin just underway. Game in Wisconsin. Michigan coming in off of a win over Nebraska. They are under 500, 2-3 in conference. Wisconsin, of course, 14-3, only one loss. You can see it on ESPN News until the conclusion of this one. Brent.
We've had a double technical called as a result of that incident. Witherspoon picks up one of the technicals, and Briscoe on the other side. Briscoe for Kentucky, Witherspoon for Mississippi State. But there was a foul called. Stapleton fouled out of the game.
And so the technicals being offsetting will just shoot the free throw for De'Aaron Fox.
So both Witherspoon and Stapleton, as a result of that, foul out of this game. Witherspoon because of the technical. So he will go to the bench.
The graphic said foul trouble and say foul out. Well, all three of them no longer part of this game, and De'Aaron Fox every bit a part of this game down the stretch.
Looks like Kentucky is going to survive a tough rally led by Peters. 22-point game for the Bulldogs here tonight. And that's Peters, and I believe that's his third personal as he came around trying to steal the basketball. And take a look at the Wildcats schedule. And Sean, on Saturday, pretty interesting game at Rupp Arena with South Carolina coming to town.
Big week for Frank Martin's team. Also undefeated, 4-0 in conference play. They play Florida tomorrow night and then have Kentucky on the road inside Rupp. And, of course, the big game is the 28th against Kansas. Everybody's focused on that one. I'll tell you a lot about Frank Martin's team, though. They're physical in the way that they guard you. They got three really good guards. Darius Thornwell, P.J. Dozier are the two that kind of lead the way. Dwayne, notice right there. But the way they defend, they're going to try to be ultra physical with the guards of Kentucky on Saturday night.
85-point game for Kentucky with 43 seconds left. Peters again gets into the rim. 165 total points scored here tonight. And across the monk, there was a whistle. I'll remind everybody, of course, of our Big Ten ACC doubleheader on Thursday. Maryland, Iowa will tip it off, and that'll be followed by the ACC game between Clemson and Louisville. So still a lot of good basketball headed your way this week. Wildcat Tuesday next week. We'll follow Kentucky to Knoxville. It'll be Tennessee and Kentucky, Sean. You're going to have to tell us something new about the Wildcats on Wildcat Tuesday.
Well, we might be talking about Gabriel after his game tonight. I thought he was outstanding. But yeah, no, it'll be a good game next week. Hubbs has been playing well. Tennessee showing some fight. They're a little bit more short-handed now with Mostello no longer being on the team. But Lenyon Gabriel had himself a game tonight here on the road.
So it's a 7-point, and foul is going to be called. Peters, by the way, he has tied his career high with 24 points. So he's shooting for a new career high as he comes to the free. Oh, yeah, it is. How's that for a face that you've got to fall in love with? My dogs played hard, but we got to have some more W's, lads.
I'll tell you about Peters, the toughness that he's shown. Kaylee talked about his father, and then his heart and his will to compete the way that he has had, and the talent that goes along with all of that. You mentioned a bright future for him. It's a bright future for Mississippi State in the SEC. Very good recruiting class last year that came in, and they've signed another good class coming up for this upcoming season. In fact, Quindary Weatherspoon's brother is part of that class, and a very capable and talented player himself.
So he'll try again for that career high. Here we go. Nice night.
Well, you know what? This one wasn't the prettiest of games. But the fact that you go on the road in college basketball and you find wins, it's always sweet and it's always good.
There's Kegler with the personal foul. And Kentucky up a couple of possessions. They can put this on the 3 with 27 seconds to go.
You look around the country and you see road wins and how important they are and how difficult they can be. I mean, for Mississippi State, they got a road win at Bud Walton Arena. They got back on the bus and got back as fast as they possibly can. You don't look back. It doesn't matter if it's great, if it's not good, if it's pretty, if it's not pretty. Going on the road and winning in college basketball is difficult. Tonight, Kentucky stayed with it. There was foul trouble. The disrupted units that don't normally play with each other, but yet they executed down the stretch. Number 0 in particular had himself a huge night as well.
Peters again. Not this time. And so Kentucky will head home with another W for the time being, folks. They're in first place in the SEC, pending what Florida does against South Carolina. Both came in tonight tied at 5-0. And Ben Howland, John Calipari. So Kentucky 88, Mississippi State 81. Time to go off to the Big Ten and their leader Maryland. So let's send you to Dave Fleming. Take it away, Dave.